Hi guys, welcome to Classic Rock and Country Music Facts and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you. Today's video, I'm going a little bit more country today with Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn, and for a reason. 30 years ago this month, I believe it was June the 5th, Conway and Loretta Lynn shared their final moments together. A final goodbye, if you will. Pretty interesting and pretty neat story. Let's take a look. There are some stories in country music that are almost so touching and so crazy that almost ask the audience to suspend belief. If they were spun into fiction, they would be laughed off as extraordinary. Time after time, country music has given us these stories, and it's helped keep the mystique of the music and the artists of the past alive, well beyond their shelf life in popular culture. One of those stories, if not one of the best, was how fate allowed Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty to reunite once again for his final moments in life. Conway Twitty died on June the 5th, 1993, 30 years ago. He'd been performing in Branson, Missouri, and was on his bus headed back to Nashville for the annual fanfare that happens the first week of June. It's now called the CMA Fest. While on the bus, Conway collapsed unexpectedly. He was suffering from abdominal aortic aneurysm. No true country music fan needs to be told just how legendary the pairing of Conway and Loretta were. They were arguably the greatest country duet partners of all time. Together, they racked up 12 top 10 hits, including 5 number ones. They also recorded 4 number 1 albums. Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty also earned 4 consecutive CMA Duo of the Year awards between 72 and 75. Apart, they seemed like polar opposites. Conway was a suave ladies' man, always getting his way, and Loretta Lynn was a confident woman, always putting men in their place. On paper, it was an odd pairing, but on stage and in the studio, it was perfect, and was the ideal complement to their legendary careers without getting in the way. One of the reasons the duo worked so well is Loretta's famous husband, Oliver Doolittle Lynn, loved Conway Twitty, and Conway Twitty's third wife, Dolores D. Henry, adored Loretta Lynn, and so did Conway's second wife, Temple Mickey Medley, who Twitty was married to between 56 and 84. The relationship between Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn was always solely professional. One of the reasons a duet worked so well is because they also loved each other deep down. The Conway and Loretta show had mostly wrapped up after 10 years in 81, aside from a single in 88 called Making Believe. Their respective solo careers were just too much to handle on their own. They still remained good friends, though, and performed together on occasion. There wasn't a reunion show or a planned meeting that brought Conway and Loretta together again on the day that Conway Twitty died. It was pure fate. Conway laid in agony on his tour bus. His driver took him to Cox Medical Center in Springfield, Missouri for help. Completely by chance, when Conway Twitty arrived, Loretta Lynn, already at the hospital, tending to her husband, Doolittle, who was suffering from complications with diabetes and was gravely ill himself. When they brought Conway in, I couldn't believe it, Lynn told Ralph Emery in an interview some years later. I just could not believe it. It was the worst thing I've ever been through, really. I stayed with Dee, Conway's wife, and I stayed with the band for a while. And then I'd run up to see Doo. And then I'd run back to sit with Dee. And then I'd run back to see how Doo was because he was in real bad shape. And they thought he was going to die any time. I was in bad shape myself. Here was Loretta Lynn in a hospital in Springfield, Missouri, running up and down halls, tending to 2 of the most important men in her life, both of whom were fighting for theirs. After so long, here comes the chaplain. Loretta continues, "Do you want to see Conway?" I said, "Why, what's wrong?" He said, "Do you want to see him? You're going to see him for the last time alive." I said, "Let me take Dee." I grabbed Dee by the hand and said, "Let's go see Conway." I told Conway, I said, "Conway, don't you die on me. You know you love to sing. You're going to be all right." Dee talked to him and said, "Conway, you've pulled through harder things than this." Then Loretta Lynn left again to see Doolittle, and right as she entered Doolittle's room, they came up behind me and said Conway died. Conway Twitty was only 59 years old. If the story had transpired in Nashville, it may not have been so unbelievable that both Loretta Lynn and Conway would have been in the same hospital in his final moments, or that friends like Loretta may have been called to Conway's side when the worst was feared. But this was in Springfield, Missouri, and completely by chance that Loretta Lynn was there. And that's why country music is more than just songs and artists and albums. It's the stories, the friendships, the love, and the heartbreak that color the moments in between that make it more than just music. There you go. I just think that was such a special story, and God definitely had his hand in on this one for sure. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. That's all I have for you. Please go check out Classic Rock and Country Music Facts and Trivia. It's where you're at, so check it out again. I'm having a rough day today, boy. Please subscribe. Thank you. Have a great day. God bless. And I promise I'll be better tomorrow. I'll be praying for you.